Welcome and thank you for joining us on October's Pro Workshop on breezEV. My name is Rebecca Jers. I'm District Sales and Inside Sales. Co-hosting today with me is Doug Nebelsberger, the Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing. I got David Gershaw. He's going to present today. He's the Chief Innovation Officer. Dan LaJoyce, Senior Sales Engineer. And then Mike Emery, the Director of EV Charging. Right after the Pro Workshop, we're going to right away put up a quiz just for you to test your knowledge and then also possibly win some prizes. So you have to have a perfect score, which you totally will. And if you win, the prizes are going to be 2 breezEV testers, 10 breezEV, is it polos or just shirts?
Polos.
Polos, okay.
Polos.
And then one $500 Visa gift card. And then if you have any questions during the presentation, place those in the Q&A and we'll answer those at the very end. But Doug, is there any?
Yeah, I'll do a little company update before we get to the main event here. So let me pop up my screen and share. Turn off subtitles. For some reason my PowerPoints go automatically to subtitles. Anyways, so breezEV Pro Workshop. Thank you guys all for joining us. This has been a fun series that we started back in December of 18. I think December of 18. Anyways, yeah. David did the first one, and here we are, October of 23, still going. So really appreciate you guys all taking some time on Monday to join us. So some company updates. So this is just a shot of our new Chicagoland Training Center. This is here in our Cary, Illinois location, which is one of our 2 corporate headquarters. We have Cary, Illinois, and then also Middleton, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. But we just opened this up, had our grand opening a couple of weeks ago. Features, all of our products, all of our brands, light efficient design with the lamps, work lights, REMFOS with the easy to use, easy to install, control, control, again, easy to use controls with REMFOS. Then you got Solera, our solar outdoor products, LED fixtures. You got C-Flex, the Lutron enabled products. Then you got breezEV, which we're here to talk about today. But we opened this up. We've been having people come visit us in Middleton for over 4 years now. But we know it's a bit of a hike for those on the West Coast. And we got plenty of customers just right around here in the Chicagoland area. So we wanted to have another option for people to come see us, do some hands-on training with us, with our product experts. So we'll be doing some more formal trainings, but at the same time, if you want to just get a small group of a handful of people here, we'd love for you, our reps, or for our distributor partners or contractors, come out, see us, and we can focus on any specific type of product that you might be of most interest and just give you a little update on the others. And there's the LBI. So Nick, one of our product managers for the REMFOS brand, actually did this lighting layout and actually did a whole design. But that's our LBI hanging there, suspended mount, set up in a cool fashion. So we got that rocking and rolling. Also, last 2 weekends ago, we were at NECA, National Electrical Contractor Association, and we were there and won an award. We won the Showstopper Award. There's hundreds of entries into this and about 20 manufacturers that earn this esteemed honor. So this was for our S48, which most of you guys are familiar with. We'll touch on that in a little bit, but really cool accomplishment. Also for us as a company, we've partnered with NECA and even more so Electri, which is their innovation subgroup within there. And the contractors really do influence a lot of the spec or the ability to substitute, another product that's on the spec. So we've been getting a ton of great feedback over the last year or so since we've been working with NECA and their partners, and we continue to do so. Still obviously selling through distribution, but we'll always remain channel loyal. But the contractors like that too, because they've given us feedback that there's still material that's getting directly sold to the end user, and then they're just coming in for the labor piece of it. So great things from NECA, and that's all I have. So we will get to the main event. So that is so David Gershaw is our Chief Innovation Officer. I know most of you guys know David. But it's now been over 5 years since the companies merged back in early 2018. But David founded Remfoss, and now he's in charge of coming up with the next latest and greatest things for our company, which has been, many hits along the way, whether it was LBI, solar, Troffer transformer, getting us, helping us diversify. It's something we've been working on for some years. Is we got great rep network, great distributor partners. What other things can we manufacture, add some unique value to it, and bring to market? And EV chargers is that. So, David, it's your show.
Appreciate it, Doug. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I wanted to start off, before I pulled up the slide deck, just talking for a minute about our company's progress with EV charging, how we're doing, how we thought we would be doing by now, how we actually are doing. So, we've been doing EV now for, about 2 years, we'll call it. And we've learned a lot over the last 2 years. We're obviously a lighting manufacturing company. Getting into EV charging was a risk for us. It was a departure from what we're comfortable with, what we know. And we couldn't be more proud of what we've accomplished so far with you guys, with our partners out there. To date, we've sold thousands and thousands of chargers that have been successfully installed in the ground and are up and running and working. A lot of these chargers are kind of in that public, commercial, industrial space compared to the resi space. And a lot of those chargers have cellular connections, right? They're running a cloud-based software, Amp Up, or Switch in Canada. And it was a huge learning curve to make sure that our hardware and the software and the cellular connection to the cloud was all talking and working properly, easy to set up, meaning it's easy to deploy for our electricians, that it's consistently running. That's really, really important. That's a topic that a lot of us are hearing about in the news these days, is that, drivers are pulling up to EV chargers and they're not working, right? They're not online. So having a reliable charger that drivers can trust when they pull up to is going to be online and ready for them to charge is very, very critical. And we've taken that mission really seriously to make sure that we have the easiest to deploy, most reliable chargers in the space. And this is something to think about when you're looking at you or your customers or contractors or that facility manager at a parking garage or university is looking at their different options out there. There will be charging companies that come about that say, hey, I can save you a few dollars. And the question there would be, do you really have the experience? Do you have thousands of installations like we do that are deployed, up and running, and have a history of being reliable? And we're just extremely proud of that. I was recently at a project that one of our partners did, one of our ESCOs did in the Boston area, in a prominent parking garage downtown Boston. And this installation was over 20 chargers. I think it was 22 ports, combination of wall units using our cable tensioner so that it kept the unit on the wall with the cable off the ground, nice and neat, and also pedestal mounts. And I asked the installer afterwards, after this had all been installed, I said, why did you go with us? Why did you choose breezEV? And and even more importantly, will you continue to use us? And I'm not just saying this for this workshop. Obviously, I'm biased, but what he said to me was that he is getting better support from breezEV than any other charging company that he's worked with, including ChargePoint. And he said that that is extremely important to them because they have done many, many installations with various manufacturers over the years, and nobody has given them the hand-holding and the before and the during installation support that breezEV has been able to offer. And we really pride ourselves with that. We have a team of engineers now that know this technology in-house. They're ready to help wherever the project may be. And he said that he's going to continue to use us, that ESCO is going to continue to use us as their workhorse, as their number one choice, because of that support, because of that reliability of the equipment. So that's one little testament to why you should use breezEV. What I'll show you on the next couple of slides is more, the nitty gritty of the details of the product itself. But I just want you to know that, this whole EV thing is new. It's scary. A lot of customers are scared of it because of potential issues. And we are going to be your partner that makes sure that that project gets deployed easily, efficiently, and that those chargers are going to be up and running for drivers for many, many years with no issues. So that means a lot. With that, let me kick off our slide deck here. Okay, so we're going to first off, we're going to do a little bit of a update on this industry-wide news, if you will, of the Tesla charging connector. What's happening with it? What does it mean for you? What does it mean for previous installations? What does it mean for future installations, etc.? This is a big deal, so I wanted to really start with this topic. The Tesla connector, which you can see on the right, and you can see how it showed kind of superimposed over a standard J1772 charging connector, which is the standard charging connector that has been on all the breezEV level 2 chargers to date, and also any other manufacturers, whether it be ChargePoint or anybody else's charger to date in North America. So you can see how it's smaller, it's lighter, it's easier to use, if you will. The Tesla connector has been proprietary to Tesla to date, and it's now being called the NACS connector. So the North American Charging Standard, or NACS for short, is what the Tesla connector is now being called. So from here on out, we won't refer to it as the Tesla connector. We'll refer to it as what the industry is calling it, which is the NACS. So that NACS connector on the right combines both AC and DC charging pins into one single unit. And this is different from what's happened to date in North America. What's happened to date is that we have that J1772, which again has been the standard for all the breezEV chargers and anybody else's level 2 chargers in the industry. You've had the CCS one in the middle, which has been for fast charging. And then you have that Tesla, or now NACS connector on the right, which combines AC and DC into one. Who is switching to NACS? This is what's been in the news. The reality of it is that just about every large manufacturer, Ford, GM, Nissan, Polestar, Rivian, Volvo, Mercedes-Benz, and now Volkswagen says that they're in discussions, which are those brands: VW, Audi, Porsche, Bentley, Lamborghini. So a lot of these major brands have already said that by 2025, they've made this decision. They are going to, on their vehicles, include that NACS port instead of the J1772 port. Is this an official decision? Is this an official standard? Yes. In June, SAE International, which sets a lot of the standards for the electrical industry, said that it will standardize the NACS connector, and that this is the decision for the North American market. This is a big deal. So Tesla, before this year, kept this connector proprietary. They would not release the IP or the design to be able to include that port in the vehicle when it was manufactured. So everyone was using this J1772. It's better for the industry, is the answer. It's smaller, it's lighter. It can, one connector is good for both level 2 or level 3 fast charging, because it can do both AC and DC in one connector. So no longer will the car have to have 2 ports. No longer will drivers be kind of confused. Okay, I'm pulling up to a level 2 or I'm pulling up to a level 3. Which connector am I putting into into which port? So this is really, really good for the industry as a whole. I think that it makes it, it's going to make it easier for drivers, Tesla and everyone else, to just have one connector and they can charge on every station they pull up to, including Tesla is opening up their supercharger network that's obviously pretty prominent throughout the United States. So this is a big deal. So what does this mean for existing breezEV or other level 2 chargers that are already in the ground, or maybe chargers that you're going to install and sell this year or next year? Should site hosts facility managers be worried? Should they be concerned that they're putting out in outdated hardware? And the answer is no. There's complete backwards compatibility, and all you need is a simple adapter. So if a Tesla pulls up to to any current station, breezEV station, they have a little adapter that they keep in their trunk that allows them to go from that J1772 that is attached to the breezEV charger to the NACS port on their Tesla. And likewise, fast forward to 2025 when a Ford has that NACS connector. If he's going to pull up to a breezEV charger that was installed in 2023 that has the J1772 plug, there will be an adapter that goes that way. And what we're going to start doing pretty soon is we're going to have a accessory, and we may even standardize this in the future if the industry is doing that. As far as we think that it's really nice to be able to have a adapter on a little holster that is available on those stations, so that the driver does not have to go into their trunk and find the adapter. And what we're going to do is we're going to have it tethered. These are some engineering prototypes, but we'll have that adapter tethered to the cable in a reliable way that's not easily vandalized, can't be lost, can't be stolen, right? All important things we have to think about. So those adapters will be attached to the cable so that no matter if you pull up with a vehicle manufactured in the past with that J1772 port, or in the future with that NACS port, doesn't matter. They'll be able to to charge either way. And of course, in the future, if I look in my crystal ball 10 years from now, all the chargers out there will have NACS connectors on them. All of the cars will have NACS ports, and we won't need to play this adapter game. But the important thing here is to explain to your customers that this is happening, this is real, and that they have nothing to worry about, that the hardware is completely compatible between the vehicles and the charger. There's complete compatibility. Doesn't matter if the vehicle was manufactured 5 years ago or 5 years from today, it's going to work with the charger that they're putting in the ground today. Also on that same topic is, another huge benefit of the breezEV charger compared to some of our competitors is that our system is very modular, right? So we've really designed our system with future upgradability in mind, which, this comes into play. So that means that if in a couple of years it makes sense to remove that J1772 connector from the breezEV charger that was installed this year or last year, and put a new cable with a new NACS connector on it, that can be done in the field. It doesn't require the charger to be replaced altogether, that whole charger body or even the pedestal. If you went with somebody like a ChargePoint, that entire hardware system may need to be replaced as a whole. Very, very expensive. Whereas ours would be much, much less expensive because it's so modular and so easy to change that connector in the field. So another important thing to tell your customers. Now we'll go into just an overview of some of the chargers, the level 2 chargers that we're offering. So this is our S48. This has been really popular. We've had really significant sales with this since we've introduced it earlier this year. This is really designed to be a residential or simple fleet charger. It's plug and charge. It does not have an internet connection, doesn't require software, doesn't have an RFID card reader, no display. So, simple plug and charge situation where they're not looking to connect to the internet and run any cloud management or charger management software. This has a 1-foot cord connected to it from the factory that's included in the box. And that has a NEMA 1450 amp plug on it, so that right out of the box, it could be plugged right in, if you have a existing 50 amp outlet, or that connector or that plug and 1-foot cord can be removed from that gland right here, and it can be hardwired. So if that electrician wants to run conduit right to the unit, that can be done as well. We have our R48. So this is kind of the commercial fleet unit. This does not have an internet connection or require software either, but unlike the S48 on the previous page, the R48 has restricted RFID access. So it comes in the box with five RFID cards, right? They look like credit cards that you could include, keep in your wallet. And these are going to allow the charger to turn on and off only if you have that RFID card. So if you do not have an RFID card, you won't be allowed access to use that charger. If you need more than 5 RFID cards, for example, say you have an apartment building, with 100 chargers and 500 residents, you need 500 cards. We can either print those cards for them, or they can purchase a simple RFID card machine, and they can make their own cards to give out to residents, if you will. So that's the R48. And then we have the P48, which is our Pro series, our more professional series. This has the screen, right? It has that RFID card reader. It has a 4G cellular network built into it, and it runs on a super SIM, which is an important note. Our super SIM makes our cellular connection more reliable, we believe, than anyone else's in the industry, and that's because it can scan all of the available networks providers, AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, etc., in that area, and decide which is the strongest signal and lock on to that provider. So it doesn't, if Verizon's not great in the area, if T-Mobile's not great in the area, it's going to figure out which one is best. And it also has an Ethernet port if you want to do some hard wiring. We include, when you purchase this unit, 1 year of AmpUp Pro software. That's the cloud management software. Or if you're up in Canada, we're using Switch. But this means that all the costs are built in for that first year. And then renewals are with AmpUp or Switch are some of the lowest renewal fees in the industry as far as what that yearly renewal fee is going to be. If you compare the renewal fee, annual fee to any of the other providers out there, ChargePoint or some of the others, this is less. So this is the unit that's really designed for utility rebates or customers that want to charge money for that charging session, right? You might charge $1 per kilowatt hour, 50 cents, or whatever it is. Or if you need monitoring, so you want to see the health and the status of all 200 chargers in various parking garages or various parts of your university campus, this would be the charger that has that right technology. And then the P80 is everything that we said about the P48, but it allows for up to 80 amps of charging. Some of the new vehicles, like the Ford F-150 Lightning, the Rivian trucks, vans, a lot of the larger vehicles that are coming out, and certainly a lot of the commercial type vehicles, the trucks, the vans, are going to allow for up to 80 amps of charging, so they can charge faster. The important thing to note about the 80 amp unit is that you can't hurt a car that is not designed to charge up to 80 amps or can't charge up to 80 amps with the 80 amp charger. So in other words, my friend stopped by the other day with his Model 3 Tesla to our Middleton facility where we have an 80 amp charger outside, and his Model 3 Tesla can only charge up to, I believe his is actually 32 amps. It's one of the base models, but he plugged into that 80 amp charger and there's no concern. The car is still going to protect itself and not charge beyond what it's allowed to charge, in that case 32 amps. So that's the P80. So we're going to do a couple examples here, a couple example scenarios, kind of interactive. If you're sitting at your desk or on your phone, just kind of take a look at this example. I'll walk us through it, and we can decide together which would be the best option for that example scenario. So here we've got a residential single family home. It's going to be free charging, right? We have just the owners of the home pulling in the charge. So which one would we use? We'd go with the S48, right? There's no need for restricted access with a RFID card, R48, or some of the bells and whistles like the software and the internet connection that the P series have. So the S48 would be perfect there. I also want to note, in this example, you have a really beautiful garage, right? That's a nice, beautiful, modern, clean garage. The S48, we're really proud of this design. Like Doug said in his discussion a few minutes ago, we just won the NECA award for a showstopper for this design. It's a really beautiful, elegant, modern look that fits so well into any space, whether it's a simple garage or a multi-million-dollar garage, showstopper garage. The S48 is going to look really beautiful and complement and add to the beauty of that space, not detract from it. This next scenario, we've got a public parking garage, but here they want to offer free charging because you pay to go in the garage, and that's one of the amenities that they're offering free charging. But this garage owner wants to track their usage, so maybe they have 50 chargers, they want to track their usage, they also want to receive utility rebates. So which would be appropriate here? The answer would be either the P48 or the P80. because for that utility money, you're going to need that cloud-based charger management software, amp up or switch in our case. So that's going to be really important. And how would you decide between the P48 and the P80? Well, the P80 would be the better choice. It's really going to come down to the electrical, the electrical capacity that garage has. So, when you go to do your walkthrough, how many chargers do you want to install? How much available current do you have, power do you have in your panels? Is the utility willing to bring more electricity to that space? When I talked about that 22 unit installation in downtown Boston that I just went to recently that we completed, the utility did pay in Massachusetts 100% to bring additional power, additional service to that garage. So it really depends on the state that you're in, but some utilities are willing to pay a lot of money, or in Massachusetts' case, 100% to bring that additional power to that garage. So you could, in theory, go with that P80. Okay, here we have an apartment complex. They're going to offer free charging to their residents. So if you rent an apartment in this complex, they're going to allow you to charge for free, but they want to be able to only allow access or restrict access to residents. They don't want the public to just pull up to this parking lot. This is an open parking lot, right? It's not a gated parking garage, and be able to charge. So what would be a good charger here? The R48. They could give out those RFID cards to their residents and allow for charging that's restricted, but they don't want to spend the money in this case or need a utility incentive or some of the extra bells and whistles that those P series have. Here we have a Amazon fleet van, distribution center, if you will. You can see all those Rivian vans plugged in. Those vans do charge, the Rivian vans do charge up to 80 amps, and they want to be able to track usage, utility rebate money, etc. Which charger? The P80, right? They can charge up to 80 amps, and they want to be able to have all those features that are required with that cellular connection and that amp up or switch software. And then the last one we have here is a fleet of F-150 Lightnings. The F-150 Lightning can charge at up to 80 amps. And again, they want to be able to track all their usage and utility rebates, etc. P80 would be another good tool there. So just some scenarios to kind of walk you through, okay, which charger would be appropriate for which scenario. And next off, we're going to hand it off to, I believe, Doug again. And Doug is going to walk us through some of the new exciting breezEV EC, or electrical contractor partner resource guide. I wanted to really show, before Doug shows on his screen, kind of walking us through all the different things that it offers. But this is some screenshots from an iPhone, and you can see we really designed this guide to be really easy to look at and use on a phone, because we expect that a contractor during installation, or hopefully a little bit before installation as well, is going to want to review this. And Doug will walk us through, or Mike Emery will walk us through, I'm not sure who's doing it, walk us through this page. But this is a really exciting tool that's going to be a huge benefit to installers of breezEV. So with that, I will hand it over to the next person here.
So David, you're correct. We're actually both going to do it, but I'm gonna be the man behind the scenes, controlling it. And so let me make sure I'm on the right page here. All right, perfect. So
at least it wasn't a beer, just a Red Bull.
all right. So as last thing I'll say, and then I'll pass it over to Mike, but you can kind of see how David's screenshots looked a little bit more how we intended them to look, because most people will be using this on their mobile device. This is the desktop version. So, but with that, we've got our director of EV charging, Mike Emery, to walk you through what we're doing here. So Mike, take it away.
We get you don't need to see me on camera there, that's fine. So hey everybody, thanks
Yep.
for joining today. We tried to do a display from phone on Friday. That worked less than stellar. So we're going for this static screen here. But the idea is, and a lot of the feedback that we had from Nika and the Nika show and prior to the Nika show, is how do we support the contractor and the installer, right? I mean, we're dedicated to distribution. We have great distribution partners. We have amazing reps. They do all that heavy lifting. But how do we get to the contractor and be that resource and that one source for the contractor so that they can rely on getting a consistent product, getting it deployed in a consistent manner, meaning connected, networked, validated, all that good stuff, and being able to walk off the job site knowing that they're not going to have to get a call back, because I can tell you about half of all charger deployments, which are on the L2 level, there's a lot more that goes into DC fast charging, but on the L2 level, most of those jobs require a callback, and it can be for a variety of reasons. So we started seeing some of the same usual suspects come up, causing that need to go back on site. When you go back on site, they're losing money. No one's paying for that, or who's going to pay for it? It doesn't look great to the site host, their ultimate client, our ultimate customer, because you had to come back when they thought it was all set to go. So we quickly came to the realization we need to get in front of it. We want to get out there and provide a resource so that an installer, and usually these are the newer installers, which most of them are going to be right now, to make sure that they have the knowledge and the understanding of some of the basics that they want to remember or look out for when they're wiring a network charger. So we have made a pretty much a mobile page. It is a non-index page, meaning that ideally the contractor is going to find it through channels we give him that option. It will include an 800 number, a toll-free number. We'll talk about that later, but to go through an order here, first things first, a site assessment for network chargers. So these are all the usual suspects, like I said. So Ohm's law, we want to remind them, and this is NEC code, the distance and the gauge of the wire, because we're getting undercurrent, things like that would give a fault. If it's more than 100 feet, you need to drop the gauge. Some basic stuff that they should know. Most of them have studied, but they don't think about when they're out there. They're not paying attention to it. This is a big culprit in network chargers, or even a simple home charger having an issue with a fault. Checking the electrical panel just to make sure there's enough headroom. So it's a continuous load device. You want to have 25% space. So a 48 amp charger needs a 60 amp breaker. These are basic things, but again, a lot of these guys are out there, they're not really thinking through it. Site walk using a signal cell meter. I'm not sure if I'm on camera or not, doesn't matter. I have one in my hands. A Wilson Pro meter will give that installer a breakdown of what cellular networks are available and if they're green, yellow, or red. So the great part of one of the great parts about our installs in the field is we use a super sim, which covers all the major cellular networks. They just need to pull out the cell meter and make sure that one of them is showing a green bar. If it's showing a green bar, that means there's enough cellular signal, a 4G cellular signal, to run that charger consistently and keep uptime as close to 100% as possible. This is the goal. This is the game out there. Who's keeping their uptime closest to 100%? Who's allowing the contractors to get a real connection in the field? Not walk out of a garage or walk out from behind a building and realize that they have some shoddy cell connection and they never checked on it before they went on site, right? So that's a big trail of tears. We're trying to get people to avoid that. Again, walk it with a cell meter. Confirm that the CP wire is seated properly. It's like a thermostat wire. It's the small wire in the charging cable that needs to be seated properly inside the charger. And then there's a strain relief that holds the wires down. Again, basic tackling and blocking, but we need to remind them, because we get called up to a client site and we open it up and they say, hey, your charger's on, but it's not working. This is almost always what we find inside is a loose CP wire, because they didn't clamp the wires down and it got shaken loose during a couple charges, right? Or that they just didn't put it in correctly in the first place. So we're trying to let our partners have these little reminders so they get off that job site. Registering to a connected network. We have a video forthcoming from AmpUp, our partner, which shows you how each charger can be dialed in within about 2 minutes. The example in proof is that 22 charger job David was referring to. There were 4 of us out there. We had a few EVs, but 22 units were all validated and put on network in under an hour. And by validated, I mean they weren't just turned on and recognized by the network. They were tested to make sure they were charging. And we did use our EV charger tester for most of that. So that's a critical piece of that. That video is probably a few weeks out here. And that is basically showing an installer how he just does the QR code with his phone. That sends it to AmpUp. They confirm they got it. And then the charger is basically networked, validated on that network, okay? Charging the tester right here, again, testing the charger, I should say. Dan's going to show you exactly what that looks like. That's a critical piece. If you don't have an EV to plug into, you can't be sure that the charger is actually making that handshake with the car. Long and short is the charger can be on, it can be connected, it can have cellular connectivity bars on the screen. And if it's not making the handshake with the car, then you're going to be coming back to the job site. The only way to confirm it is with an EV, electric vehicle, or a charger tester. Last thing is revenue calculator. A lot of people, not just the contractors, ask us, what's the revenue look like? What's the ROI? We don't speak in terms of ROI. We speak in terms of cash flow. Cash flow is a more honest number to handicap and to get them an idea of what that looks like. Basically, they get to come here, plug in, how much are they paying for kilowatts? What do they want to charge for kilowatts? And how many do they estimate per day could possibly happen? And that will run it out for a month. And they'll minus out the cost of the software, which depending on what software package they have runs between 20 and 30 a month. And that will give them an honest and accurate cash flow number. So this has been a big help in shortening the sales cycle and, just getting some of the site hosts more comfortable about what EV charging may or may not provide in terms of a financial, a financial piece for them on their property. Last thing here, we have the basic warranty information, of course, and we have the install guide as well above. Those are also things that come in the box, but we want to make sure we have a copy in the field for the electricians. Here's where we're going to separate ourselves, and here's the request we've been getting is dedicated field support for when the electrician is in the field. So not a number of people can call up asking how much is a charger, or what does your software do, or I think I want a charger, but this is a number that's going to be pretty much restricted to inbox. So a charger box will have this number, and if anyone is handling anything else that they've already purchased from us, it will have this EV Breeze number there where they can call in and get our sales engineering team to help them walk through any issues they might have. Also, let us connect them with AmpUp if they need help on the AmpUp side. So, that's basically it in a nutshell. It is a resource for them in the field. They're using their cell phone, the same cell phone they're going to use for their signal meter screen for the readout. And this is what we're trying to arm our EC partners with, to become, again, a one source for electrical contractors. All right. With that, we have our senior sales engineer here, Dan LaJoy, who does a lot for us, makes everything work, and is going to demonstrate how that charger tester works.
Okay. Good to have you all here. So here we have our EV level 2 charger tester, and it actually also comes in this nice carrying case to keep the charger tester protected in your toolbox. So the EV charger tester, you'll power it on. It takes 2 AAA batteries. In the back here, we have a wall setup of our S48 unit. You can see we have our cable retractor bolted right to the wall. Gives it a nice clean install. And grab the charge plug here and plug into the EV tester. Okay, so from there, we can see what the EV charger is set to. So we can see that it is currently off, that this charger is set to 48 amps. It gives you the electrical readouts of the CP wire and the characteristics of that square wave. You can turn the charger on. You can see we've now requested the charge. From there, we can put this down for a moment. You can take a standard voltmeter, and many of these, you can remove the probes right off the top there. We're going to plug into the EV tester. And now we're getting the supply voltage of the EV tester through the voltmeter. You get to use the banana leads, so it's very safe. Plug right into the EV tester. With a voltmeter, you get the supply voltage. You can unplug from there and turn the charging session off. The S48 turns green to let you know that the charging session is complete. And then you can unplug from the tester or the quote vehicle, and you can see that the S48 returns to its standby blue. So this is a very cost-effective charger tester. Many others on the market are well over $1,000, and I believe the only other cost-effective one that was out previously has been discontinued. So ours really is the most effective unit on the market. Gives you the screen, excellent readouts. Very few give you like what the charger is set to on the CP wire, so very useful to have. Many chargers without a screen, you don't know what they're set to. You can plug in. And then I'll do one more time here. Lets you start that charging session. So that way, if you're a contractor on site and you don't have an electric vehicle, you can see that everything is communicating. If a car came up now, you're confident that the charging session would work. There we go. So that's this unit will also do the trip, do an error trip as well. I'll do that one as well here. So we can see we can cause that unit to go into an error mode. Okay, very good. So that is the EV charger tester. This is for level 2 chargers. It has the J1772 plug on the back. It will work with Tesla level 2 chargers with an adapter.